The filter-free diary. Uh,
Good evening. It's 9:05 and interestingly enough, it's the 285, which is one combination that is completely the feminine numbers. It happens twice in a year for the feminine and twice in a year for spirit. It doesn't actually happen for the masculine. Kind of gets cut off right before, that moment can happen. But have you ever made a plan not to have a plan? Does that make any sense? As a person that used to be very neurotic about time, I used to make a lot of plans, but the thing is, they only ever work for me. My plans work for me. My plans don't necessarily work for my friends or, my coworkers or anyone else. They really only work out well for me, and I didn't realize that. I learned that the hard way. But at one point, after 2020 for sure, I learned that I could have my perfect plans and I could have things be perfect and it was a lot of stress. It was a whole lot of stress. And I guess you could say I learned the value of flexibility, right? Because sometimes when you make a plan and you're like, okay, the plan is not to have a plan. The plan is to have a destination and to just see if, we can get to the destination. And not for nothing. Sometimes that doesn't work out, like with Canada. But sometimes that does work out with just about everything else. Germany was kind of terrifying, but Czech was kind of terrifying too, but yeah, for the most part. I wonder if that was my 3. I wonder if I'm good now. Is that a thing? Can I have 3 strikes and I just be out and not allowed to have any more strikes? Probably not. But anyway, so the plan is not to have a plan, right? The plan is kind of, because not for nothing, I don't know all the things anyways, right? Like I have to have crazy dreams that say go do things, or I have to shortcut somewhere, or I have to, get tacos or sushi. For things to happen, you can't just stay at home and be like, I hope things are going to happen, because, sometimes what you're supposed to be doing is going. But anyways, so if you're going, if you're trying to be flexible, it's kind of like how water can be flexible. And I'm gonna get a little sciencey, just a little bit sciencey. Water, because it is polar, because it does have a positive and a negative side, it means all of them can line up really well. And we call that hydrogen bonding, when all the hydrogens kind of all point in one direction, and it allows current to go through water, And if there's salt in that water, current can go really fast through the water. But anyways, so the idea is that water can do that hydrogen bonding property that allows it to basically cohese, right? Like the Terminator and the T-1000 that was like liquid metal and cohesed and didn't really make ripply things, right? I mean, didn't splat and splatter, right? It could if you hit it hard enough, but for the most part, it was gelatinous. Anyways, so it's kind of like water's, hydrogen bonding. It's flexibility, its ability to just go with the flow and keep kind of a steady current. No matter if that's a fast current or a very slow, kind of current. And because we're all in bodies, because, we all are forms, that's a common property we all have, all as forms. And not for nothing, isn't music and dancing kind of just like that same kind of cohesive ability through movement? Isn't that what we're all just kind of doing out here, wiggling around? Kind of. Have a good evening.